Hello everyone, Ron here from RJJ's Reactions, and I am here with NF, and the song is Mansion. This is a lyric video, I believe. The suggestion was from Rita. Thank you very much, Rita. She said this would explain some things to me. I hope I can understand what he's singing slash rapping about here, but we'll see if it's a lyric video. It may help a lot. If I have something to say about the lyrics, I'll try to do it throughout the video, but I do try not to stop too often. So I may have to jot some things down. So if you see me writing over here, it's just so that I'm not stopping all the time. In the description, I will put a link to NF's channel so that you can go there and subscribe and like and comment and support the artist. Of course, we want to do that. Also, I'll make a playlist for NF. I think this is the third or fourth one. I did one a couple of years ago and then a long time, and then I just got some requests again. So here we are. So I'll do a playlist. You can check that out. There won't be too much yet, but I'm sure I'll be adding to it. Also, in the description, there's a way to bump up your request, get it much sooner than on the regular list. On the regular list, it usually takes many months because I just sort of got back into NF, and Rita said this might explain some things. I thought I would get this one up quickly, but usually it's not that quick. So you can use one of the donation methods if you do want to bump up your reaction and get it a lot quicker. Just let me know what you want me to react to. Obviously, sometimes a link is helpful because if there's several videos, usually I picked the wrong one, apparently. I don't know. So, so there you go. Don't forget to subscribe here if you have already. Thank you very much. I appreciate that. Thank you to everyone who shared videos, liked videos, commented. I really do appreciate it. It helps the channel a lot. And all the information you send helps other viewers as well. I read everything. I can't remember everything because there's a lot of information that comes in, and this is not my real job. But I do try. All right, let's go with NF. Mansion. Looks like a mansion in behind him there.
Insidious as blind inception. What's reality with all these questions? Feels like I missed my alarm and slept in. Broken legs, but I chase perfection. These walls are my blank expression. My mind is a home I'm trapped in, and it's lonely inside this mansion.
So mansion metaphor for what's happening up here.
Yo, my mind is a house with walls covered in lyrics. They're all over the place. The songs in the mirrors written all over the floors, all over the chairs, and you get the uncut version of life when I go downstairs. That's where I write when I'm in a bad place and need to release and let out the version of NF you don't want to see. I put holes in the walls with both of my fists till they bleed, and you might get a glimpse of how I cope with all this anger in me. Physically abused, now that's a room that I don't want to be in. That picture ain't blurry at all, I just don't want to see it. And
okay, so I'm not going to stop all the time, don't worry, but I just kind of thought the mansion was going to be a metaphor for something. So all the thoughts that are going on inside. And so he's sort of talking about punching holes in the wall and going downstairs. And so it could be literal, of course, but it can also be in your mind when you go down into your deeper thoughts, your darker thoughts, the painful thoughts, the things that have happened to you, etc. So really good so far. I like that. And you get the uncut version of life when I go downstairs. Yeah, when I go deep. Yeah, it's probably going to hurt. It's probably going to be painful. And I think I heard something along the way that he's had a rough, or had a rough start to life at least. So I'm not exactly sure. But yeah, this is really good so far. Oh, and one other thing, I knew I was forgetting something. The reason I say it can be literal is I sometimes I have my L.T.L. Tutoring Central t-shirt on. That's my real job, the one that pays the bills, or at least tries to. And I've done that for 30 years, almost 30 years, 29 years this year actually. And what I've had a student who punched holes in walls literally at home, and was struggling a lot of behavioral issues. Fantastic guy, very bright, but a lot of problems that going on up here, and had to learn how to cope. We all, well, we either learn or we end ourselves, one or the other. So hopefully we learn, and I think NF learned because he's continued on. So
when I go downstairs. That's where I write when I'm in a bad place and need to release and let out the version of NF you don't want to see. I put holes in the walls with both of my fists till they bleed. You might get a glimpse of how I cope with all this anger in me. Physically abused, now that's the room that I don't want to be in. That picture ain't blurry at all, I just don't want to see it. And these walls ain't blank, I just think I don't want to see them. But why not? I'm in here, so I might as well read them. I gotta thank you for this anger that I carry around. Wish I could take a match and burn this whole room to the ground. Matter of fact, I think I'ma burn this room right now. Somehow this memory for some reason just moved you used to put me in the corner so you could see the fear in my eyes. Then took me downstairs and beat me till I screamed and I cried. Congratulations, you'll always have a room in my mind, but I'ma keep the door shut and lock the lyrics inside.
Insidious as blind inception. What's reality with all these questions? Feels like I missed my alarm and slept in.
Beautiful tone to his voice.
And slept in. Broken legs, but I chase perfection. These walls are my blank expression. My mind is a home I'm trapped in, and it's lonely inside this mansion. Inside this mansion.
Yo, my mind is a house with walls covered in pain. See, my problem is I don't fix things, I just try to repaint. Cover them up like it never happened. Say I wish I could change. Are you confused? Come upstairs and I'll show you what I mean. This room's full of regrets, just keeps getting fuller it seems. Moment I walk into it's the same moment that I wanna leave. I get sick to my stomach every time I look at these things, but it's hard to look past when this is the room where I sleep. I look around, one of the worst things I wrote on these walls was the moment I realized that I was losing my mom. And one of the first things I wrote was I wish I would've called, but I should just stop now, we ain't got enough room in this song. And I regret the fact that I struggle trying to find who I am, and I lie to myself and say I do the best that I can. Shrug it off like it ain't nothing, like it's out of my hand, and get ticked off whenever I see it affecting my plans. And I regret watching these trust issues eat me alive, and at the rate I'm going, I'll probably still be there when I die. Congratulations, you'll always have a room in my mind. The question is, will I ever clean the walls off in time? Oof.
Insidious as blind inception. What's reality with all these questions? Feels like I missed my alarm and slept in. And slept in. Broken legs, but I chase perfection. These walls are my blank expression. My mind is a home I'm trapped in, and it's lonely inside this mansion. Inside this mansion.
So this part of my house, no one's been in it for years. I built a safe room and I don't let no one in there, cause if I do, there's a chance that they might disappear and not come back. And I admit, I am emotionally scared to let anyone inside, so I just leave my doors locked. You might get other doors to open up, but this door's not, cause I don't want you to have the opportunity to hurt me, and I'll be the only person that I can blame when you desert me. I'm barricaded inside, so stop watching. I'm not coming to the door, so stop knocking. Stop knocking. I'm trapped here. God keeps saying I'm not locked. I chose this. I am lost in my own conscience. I know that shutting the world out ain't solving the problem, but I didn't build this house because I thought it would solve them. I built it because I thought that it was safer in there, but it's not. I'm not the only thing that's living in here. Fear came to my house years ago. I let him in. Maybe that's a problem, cause I've been dealing with this ever since. I thought that he would leave, but it's obvious he never did. He must have picked a room and got comfortable and settled in. Now I'm in a position, it's either sit here and let him win, or put him back outside where it came from, but I never can. Cause in order to do that, I'd have to open the doors. Is that me or the fear talking? I don't know anymore.
Tough to separate. I'm going to back up, and I didn't stop a lot through the song because I thought partway I'm going to stop and go back and say a few things because I couldn't remember it all and I didn't want to write everything down. Yeah, that's a good place. See, my problem is I don't fix things. I just try to repaint. So very, very good use of the metaphor of the mansion and your mind, and what's going on inside. And yeah, I think a lot of us do that. We just sort of try to paint over it or put a band-aid on it and hope that it will go away, but it doesn't really go away because once it's in your head, it's in your head, right? So uh, all you can do is either learn to cope with it or continue to suffer, one or the other. Uh, Painting over it, maybe it gives you some temporary relief. You can do different things that give you temporary relief, but it's still there and it usually festers and comes out even worse than it was
Means I
before.
don't fix things, I just try to repaint, cover them up like it never happened. Say I wish I could change. Are you confused? Come upstairs and I'll show you what I mean. This room's full of regrets, just keeps getting fuller it seems. Moment I walk into it's the same moment that I wanna leave. I get sick to my stomach every time I look at these things, but it's hard to look past when this is the room where I sleep. I look
Yeah, I mean, again, there's a sort of literal meaning, but also figurative meaning of what's going on up here. You can't get away from yourself, right? What's going on up here, whether you're going to sleep, whether you're working, whether you're playing video game, whatever you do, it's still in your head when you're with friends.
one of the worst things I wrote on these walls was the moment I realized that I was losing
So losing my mom, was that she was leaving him, or is this a death?
my mom. And one of the first things I wrote was I wish I would've called. But I should just stop now. We ain't got enough room in this song. And I regret the fact that I struggle trying to find who I am. And I lie to myself and say I do the best that I can. Shrug it off like it ain't nothing, like it's out of my hand. And get ticked off whenever I see it affecting my plans. And I
Yeah, so again, sort of like painting over, you try to ignore it, you try to keep going, you think it's going to be okay, but things just keep sneaking up on you and affecting your plans, as he says there. Um, Even when you're trying to push it away or lock it in a room, I think he mentions that. It only works to a point, and sometimes it makes it worse and creates more of these regrets that he's talking about, rather than, you know, coping with the situation. And I regret watching these trust issues eat me alive.
regret watching these trust issues eat me alive. And at the rate I'm going, I'll probably still be there when I die. Congratulations, you'll always have a room in my mind. The question is, will I ever clean the walls off in time? Oof.
Insidious as blind inception. What's reality with all these questions? 'Cause
I think we all question what real, well, maybe not all. Some people don't seem to question anything. When I guess that's okay. You can live your life happy with that. That's fine. But a lot of people, myself included, definitely questions reality. I have a difficult time even today. Certainly did when I was really young. Uh, I've got a lot of more coping mechanisms worked on over many decades, but there's still this disconnect some days where the reality seems disconnected. And yeah,
with all these questions, feel
very
like I
strange
missed
feeling.
my alarm and slept in, and slept in. Broken legs, but I chase perfection. These walls are my blank expression. My mind is a home I'm trapped in, and it's lonely inside this mansion.
Again, I think a lot of people are lonely because even very what seem like gregarious social people are hiding a loneliness that they have inside. They're trying to fill that hole up, right? So I guess the point is you're not alone. Um, so many people struggle, and it's sometimes what other people have done or what has happened to them in life, and sometimes it's just in your mind, in your head, it's just difficult to cope. And people say, well, this person shouldn't be struggling because they've had all the luck in the world. Well, first of all, we don't usually know that for sure. And secondly, even if they did, that may be the struggle. Maybe they feel guilt or something. I don't know. Everyone seems to have an issue somewhere along.
Inside this
So this part of
mansion.
my house, no one's been in it for years. I built the safe room and I don't let no one in there. Cause if I
Again, a safe room. Yes, I have a safe room up here. I use it when I'm going to go to sleep, actually. I go there and I have many, many stories in that safe room. And I write stories. I was going to say that about, I'm sure that NF, this is a bit ironic in a way because he says you're not going to see, and yet he's singing about these things. So, or rapping and producing music videos, etc. to he's not telling everything. I'm sure he's still got things locked up in that room, but he's giving his story. He's getting it out there, and that's probably very cathartic and very very helpful. I know writing stories for me is very helpful, especially when I was younger and really needed something. Um, yeah.
There's a chance that they might disappear and not come back. And I admit I am emotionally scared to let anyone inside, so I just leave my doors locked. You might get other doors to open up, but this door's not. Cause I don't want you to have the opportunity to hurt me, and I'll be the only person that I can blame when you desert me. I'm barricaded inside.
Very very powerful lyrics. When you've lost someone in whatever way, it, yeah. How do you let somebody back in again? How do you open that door?
Stop watching, I'm not coming to the door. So stop knocking, stop knocking. I'm trapped here, God keeps saying I'm not locked. I chose this, I am lost in my own conscience. I know that shutting the world out ain't solving the problem, but I didn't build this house because I thought it would solve them. I built it because I thought that it was safer in there. But it's not, I'm not the only thing that's living in here.
Yeah, so the exact thing that you built and created to try to protect yourself ends up hurting you because it just keeps spinning around. So sometimes you have to let others in, sometimes you have to get out there. And I always say, I've said in many videos, go help somebody else. If you're struggling with yourself, go help somebody else, because first of all, there's lots of people who need help, and helping someone else helps yourself. It really is true. Um, and I empathize with NF or anyone who's gone through horrible life experiences. Yeah, that it's really, really difficult. But like I say, you either learn to cope or you give up, one or the other. Like that's it. You can't get rid of them. Just as NF is saying here, there's still, writing on the walls, or they're still in your mind. They don't really go away. And to some extent, you know, I think that's what helped me write. And I think that's probably what's helped NF create his art. So try to take the good that you can from horrible experiences.
Came to my house years ago, I let him in. Maybe that's a problem, cause I've been dealing with this ever since. I thought that he would leave, but it's obvious he never did. He must have picked a room and got comfortable and settled in. Now I'm in a position, it's either sit here and let him win, or put him back outside where it came from, but I never can. Cause in order to do that, I'd have to open the doors. Is that me or the fear talking? I don't know anymore.
So, question of reality again. And beautiful, beautiful percussion and music, and his voice is excellent too. I really enjoy. Uh, so it's kind of contradicts the dark, deep and painful thoughts and memories that he's expressing here. But I had to mention that it's beautifully done. Sometimes there's beauty in pain, and beauty in horror, and frustration, and whatever you want to call it. And of course, perfect picture here too, with the mansion and the dark, cloudy sky. Often representing dark things, painful memories, etc. um, Really well done. Thank you, Rita, for suggesting to do this one. I think that does give me more of an idea of some of the things that he's gone through, or some of the metaphor here was excellent, and I think a lot of viewers can probably relate. They may not have had the exact same experiences that NF has had, but if you live long enough, you're going to have some traumatic experiences in your life. You're going to have some very difficult times. Some people have them all the way through, start very young, myself included. Other people might come later. It might. I hear lots of people mention just how glorious and wonderful their youth was. Well, I certainly had some wonderful times. I'm not saying it was all horrible. I think that would be unfair. But um, do I want to go back there? And not on your life. I like a few things back, like my perfect eyesight and hearing, and uh, no pain and all of those things. But do I want to go back and be 12, 17, 25, whatever again? No, not really. Did that, been there, did that, and I'm all done. I definitely do not want to go back to that horror show. Enjoyable in a strange way because of the, as I say, it's dark and painful. And when I'm smiling, it's because he is so good at what he's doing and what he's representing here. And the music was also so enjoyable. But on the other hand, it's very painful. And I feel for him. And, you just want to give someone a hug and tell them it's going to be all right. But that's just something we say. And in some ways, it helps. In some ways, it doesn't help. I think that the person himself, like he said, talked about being lonely. Well, yeah, we're all alone. We can have friends and family, and they can be helpful. But I think the best thing is, like I said before, help somebody else. Don't wait for someone to help you. Help somebody else, and then that will help yourself. I think uh, that's my suggestion because, yeah, we die alone in the end. We go back into the ground and back into the atmosphere or whatever. All our atoms go back into the world. That's the best I can do. In the meantime, though, there's lots of ways of learning to cope with your struggles and using them as a tool, as NF does, I think, in his music and writing his songs and performing. And yeah, I think that's very cathartic and very helpful, and it helps a lot of other people, which again helps him. So there's this, you try to turn it into a positive cycle instead of that negative downward spiral, I guess. All right, I've talked too much. It's Ron from RJJ's Reactions. Let me know what else you'd like me to react to. I'll put it on the regular list, but it is very long, so it will likely take me a long time to get there. If you want it quick, check in the description for a way to bump up your request. Also check there for a link to NF's channel to go there and subscribe and support the artist, and a playlist for NF if you want to see my other reactions to him. Not a lot there yet, but I'm sure I'll be adding as we move forward. Have a beautiful day. Bye-bye for now.